Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna was on. We were talking about Epstein. Talking about it. We're having a conversation very similar to the one that you and I are having right now. And I asked her about Bill Clinton's connections to Jeffrey Epstein, because he's in the Epstein emails. I said this on the show, by the way. I need to say, I shouldn't have said it the way I did. I said, it's not Trump who's all over the emails. Trump is all over the emails. However, it's people talking about Trump. And most of the time, it's in ways that really don't implicate Trump. It really doesn't, if you look at the stuff. Bill Clinton is also in the emails as other people are talking about him. And it does implicate Bill Clinton. And it's not Trump that has a painting and a dress in Jeffrey Epstein's home. It's Bill Clinton. So I asked the Congresswoman about Clinton. And then she went in a different direction, which required me to follow up. And honestly, I had to follow up like 4 times. I don't know how much of that we cut. But there was a lot in this answer from Congresswoman Luna.
And ultimately, I do believe that there's an aspect to Jeffrey Epstein that involves foreign intelligence. But make no mistake, if it was American intelligence, we would have had some form of file on him that existed at the CIA. And to my knowledge, that doesn't exist. I had asked the victim attorney representation directly in front of all of House Oversight and the Speaker of the House if, to their knowledge, he had information or if he was involved with a foreign government. And they said that he was actively in communication at the time while he was under arrest with the former director of the CIA, so different administration, not Trump's administration, but different administration, and that they had heard / had potentially knowledge that he was involved with Israel, Iran, and Russia. That he was directly communicating via his bodyguard through notes with the former director of the CIA. And this is, mind you, not during the Trump administration, but when he was first on house arrest.
Okay, so we edited that up, right, Dan and Patrick? And here's how it goes down. She says she believes and she has information that Jeffrey Epstein is connected to intelligence. I then ask, what intelligence? And she says, Iran, Russia, and Israel. I then ask, that's not the first time I've heard that. It's not probably the first time you've heard that. I ask, how does she know? Because now we're getting to the issue. How can you prove what you say, right? And she says, I've heard it from victims' attorneys. For the record, right now, my show staff and I are on the search to talk to these victims' attorneys. But then I ask, how would victims' attorneys know about Jeffrey Epstein's connections to foreign intelligence? There's a lot of insight that victims' attorneys would have. They would have access to document dumps, discovery, but I don't think that would be something that would just show up in a legal discovery filing. She says victims' attorneys talk to Jeffrey Epstein's bodyguard. I'm like, well, that's the first I've heard of Jeffrey Epstein's bodyguard. And I'm not telling you I'm an expert on the subject, but I'm also not completely out of it. I've been reading a lot. First I've heard of a bodyguard. I said, whoa, this bodyguard, the keeper of the secrets, he knows everything. What's his name? The congresswoman says, I have to look back in my notes. I will say, and I'm an open ear for the congresswoman, and curious, I don't think it would be a name you would forget. I don't think you'd have to go back to your notes. This bodyguard all of a sudden seems like one of the most important people in the entire story. And I'm on the search for that name as well. And we're going to try to book that interview. This is the story. Is it true or is it not? I don't know. But this is the story. Okay? All the other names, those matter. All the people in the Epstein files, those matter. But I think you can see by the very nature of the game of partisan politics, of everybody trying to throw mud at each other and basically stain the other party with connections to Jeffrey Epstein, that that's not serious. It's an unserious endeavor. And when Speaker Mike Johnson says he's concerned about releasing things and he lists among his reasons national security, well, I want to know more. Because I've never seen a story less covered. I've never seen a story with less light on it. I've never seen a story more inexplicable. I've never seen a life as odd as Jeffrey Epstein's with as many connections and as much get-out-of-jail-free cards issued as Jeffrey Epstein. I don't know what's true, but I know that this is where you have to start in your pursuit of the truth.